Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Set Piece, looking ahead to Scotland's big double header to get to the World Cup with, as ever, Bill Leckie, and we're so fed up with our usual former Rangers number 9, we thought we'd bring in a better one. Mr. Kenny Miller, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
No problem, anytime. Looking forward to the games.
Looking healthy, Kenny.
Fit as a fiddle, Bill.
As if you could still play.
Fit as a fiddle. I don't know about that, but fit as a fiddle.
Saturday night.
Yeah, that lone furrow. Done that enough.
We'll talk about that in a minute, I think. Bill, a huge doubleheader, as I say, coming up. Greece on Saturday night. I'm flying out tomorrow to Athens before the Denmark game. We have to get a point against the Greeks to stand any chance of qualifying automatically. What's your thoughts ahead of it?
I don't want to show off to a downer of a start. I'm feeling,
come on, man,
a little bit sceptical about how we're going to do. For quite a few reasons. I don't doubt the passion in the squad. I think Steve Clarke's going to have to play an absolute blinder in training this week, because I think we've got a lot of boys who are off the standards that we need them to be at. Andy Robertson's not having a great season. We're not seeing loads of goals from the front men. And of course we have this enormous problem in goals. We're missing Billy Gilmer. I just think Steve's going to have to produce something really incredibly special for us to go to Piraeus and get something. Now, the great thing is, we've got the speedboat tucked away of the playoffs. We're in the playoffs. We know we've got that. But to get there automatically right now, I'm not feeling it.
Kenny, tell me differently. I'm more optimistic than Bill generally in life. Talk to me. I mean, you've played for Scotland so many times. You've been in this environment. You're a coach now. What will Steve Clarke be saying this week to kind of try and give the players the kind of belief that they can do it? Because is belief a big part of it, you think?
I think they've had a wonderful campaign. Let's be honest about it. To be sitting where we're at this moment in time, albeit again, look at Greece, you look at Denmark, you wouldn't say they're superpowers at European football, and you would fancy our chances to go up against them on any given day. And we've done that, So I think we've put ourselves in a wonderful position. What I would say is that Greece are a decent team, as we've seen over the last kind of year or so, and I thought they were very good at Hampden. I thought we were quite fortunate on the day that to actually get the result, and it looked quite a convincing one, which it wasn't. So it'll be a tough game going over there. Any away game is tough. I just feel that the team, I don't think they are where we were 4 or 5 years ago.
No.
But I still think they're in a position of, if in the most recent kind of era of this team, I think they're in probably the best moment they've been. Going to the Euros, they were hopeless. We couldn't buy one. At least now we've went into the start of this campaign. We had decent results, by the way, in the Nations League, considering the level of the opposition we were playing against. So I'm confident we can get a point. There's no getting away for that. But Greece are a good team. They showed that at Hampden. They've shown that previously in games as well. So it'll be a tough night. But they know what they need to do, and they have, more often than not, they've got what's been required under Steve Clarke. Like I said, I don't think we're in our best moment, but I think we've got enough to go there and get a point and set up a grandstand on Tuesday night. Yeah,
we were there in March in Greece when we played the first leg of the Nations League playoff, and we were across there and we were under. The second half was like the Alamo. But we came away with the result, and then we blew it at Hampden, unfortunately. But we know we can go there. We know that we can go there and get a result, and that's one of the positives. As I say, I just think there's a lot. McTominay, Gilman missing. Andy Robertson really worries me just now. Kieran Tierney's gone back miles. Probably doesn't even start. I just worry where we're at and how Steve gets us back up to where we were the night we beat Spain, the night we beat Denmark, the night we went to Norway and won. How does he get us there?
Well, what I would say on that, sorry Robert, is seeing those moments when we were in that going into when we're in our best spell, you were picking 9-10 were guaranteed. I think at this moment, whether it be through injuries or lack of form or whatever, and there was also a formula there for us that worked. Tierney was inside, Robertson was there, he would love to get involved, and it looked really, really good. It looked dangerous in terms of going forward. McTominay arriving in the box late, our strikers were, again, working ever so hard. McGinn was obviously in a really good goal scoring kind of veiny form at that point as well. Everybody seemed to be at the top of their game. It's not like that at this moment in time, and the formula's not there at the moment.
At the same time, you were right. The Greeks in the last game at Hampden, and any times we have played them before, have looked quality. They've got real good players, but they're out of it. They can't qualify. So that's got to be a big part of it. The atmosphere, I don't think, is going to be anywhere near as tough and hostile as what it could have been. That's got to be part of it, isn't it?
I think from a player's perspective, though, you if you can't achieve something yourself, you like to be the spoiler. You know,
Right.
I mean, again, also know there was a player we were actually looking at when we were crossing the line that plays for Greece, and we kind of spoke to him about potential coming, and what he seemed very confident about his team going to beat Scotland.
Right.
You know, obviously it never worked that way, but I still think they might have that point to prove. They might have a wee bit of revenge on their minds where they can spoil the party. You know, again, that's always something when you can't achieve. Can you stop them achieving? You know,
and what you built towards the next tournament, etc. So I certainly don't think they'll down tools. I don't think they'll be in their holidays.
I just think the atmosphere, I think, is going to be a huge part of it. The night we were in Grieve,
it was great.
It was great. You know,
Tremendous
I
atmosphere.
think that's going to be. I don't think it's going to be anything near that.
No,
in this
so
game.
that maybe plays into Scotland's hands a little bit. But Scotland have been in other places where there's been no atmosphere, and we still don't.
I think there'll be an atmosphere. I just don't think it'll be as tough as
I think the players would rather be an atmosphere.
Yeah.
They'd rather have something to fight against, and rather have a point to prove, rather than it being a dead rubber. You know, because for us it's no dead rubber.
Because
you know,
that game in March, we gave a very Steve Clarke performance. We played well in the first half. We missed a couple of chances. We scored the penalty, and in the second half, when they were all over us, we rode a lot. We threw ourselves at
it
times.
was kind of backs to the wall.
And it was very Steve Clarke.
Yeah.
And you would take that again all day long for a 0-0 or whatever.
What about the fact, Kenny, we just need a point, right? If we get a point, it goes into the last game, it's a shout against Denmark. Is that an awkward situation? Because if it's 0-0 with 20 minutes to go, you know, how does a manager or a coach set up or think about the game? I mean, you can't really play for a point or a draw, can you?
Listen, at the start of a game, it's a really dangerous mindset to be going into a game if you're looking right. Can we protect straight away? Because all you're going to do is invite pressure. And again, we've all been watching games. Oh, this team's just waiting to be beat, or they're waiting for the opposition to score. I don't think we can approach it in that manner. Which there's no way we will. We'll go out. We'll be looking to win the game. Because you never know what happens to the other side. You just never know. You know, you could gain a huge advantage if you can win and something was to go your way. So we'll approach it trying to win it. The different thing is when you get to 20, 15 minutes to go.
That's what I mean.
If it is 0-0, if it is 1-1 and you're drawing, we've got the point.
Yeah.
We've got the point now. At that point, I just think it's a natural thing for any team in that to now. It's not about just sitting in, but you're taking that protective measure. And even as a coach or a manager, you might think, right, okay, do we want to put another defensive player on and maybe get an attack just to try and protect? Because by the way, we can always score on the counter, or we could always get something for a set play, but do we want to try and protect what we've got to make sure we've got that opportunity on Tuesday night in front of our fans? And you talk about atmosphere. Now that place will be rocking on Tuesday night if we get the win and get there.
I mean, he's a relatively pragmatic coach anyway, Steve Clarke. I mean, does he go 4-6-0? Do we go all out defence?
Yes, and don't mention that in my presence, all right?
Yeah.
I'll cover you in a minute.
I will argue until that was a horrible night in Prague, but we never played 4-6-0. We played 4-2-2 with two guys forward.
We had no striker in the park.
No striker on the park, Bill.
We had no striker in the park. So you can describe it as you like.
Jamie Markey in the park.
He was playing wing back. He played wing back that night.
It was 4-2.
What's your recollection? Never mind him. He's talking on. What's your recollections of that night?
The other teams, far better teams in Scotland, have played that shape more successfully.
Yeah, but there's been strikers in the game.
Yeah,
in the team.
but do you know the biggest thing about that night, right? We lost that night to a really poorly defended set piece, or he'd have got a 0-0 and he'd have been a hero.
We lost that game before the game kicked off.
And you know what, right? And you're absolutely spot on. Because we were a set play away for getting a 0-0, which is what he wanted. Like, we weren't set out to do that, because you can win a game of football by the way, playing any way, with any personnel, any shape, you can win. Because like I say, it's a set play, it's a break, anything can happen. You can get the win. We weren't far away for getting a 0-0 that night.
Spain have won tournaments without a striker.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But they played a player as a striker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so it might recognise striker. We never done it that way. We wanted to do it that way that night. We wanted to do it that way.
What was your memories of that night?
Again, pretty much with it. We weren't like rage initially. It was my 50th cap, Robert.
Yeah.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, that's a tradition that you walk out with the armband on, and it's like it would have been the first time I've done it for my country.
Aye.
You know, so it was disappointment, effectively. But then once that's done, you're going into the game, you know you're probably going to play at some point.
Aye.
What I found crazy was we went to Prague, who, by the way, Czech won a great team. We'd already beat them, we just beat them a few months before that 1-0 at Hampden. Bruni scored, didn't he? Header.
Yeah.
So we had just beat them. So we weren't playing Spain or Germany or England or Portugal. We're playing a team that were arguably not even as good as us.
Yeah.
You know, fast forward 3 nights, we're playing one of the best teams on the planet, and we played a striker. And by the way, we were excellent and should have got something for the game. You know, so but you're right, we were defending a set play.
Craig overthought it.
You know what we were saying? We actually had watched Barcelona against what's the team in Russia who started spending all the money?
Shakhtar.
No, it wasn't Shakhtar. No, anyway, it was a Russian team. It wasn't. It's no Shakhtar. It's one of the. It was one of the newer teams. Just keep going through the Russian league. We'll get there. But anyway, what team was that, man? Oh, anyway, we'd watched in the Champions League, and this team played this way against Barcelona, and I think they got a 0-0.
Aye.
And it was like, oh, maybe we could do that. And I always remember Craig made a statement leading in. It'll be 5 years' time by you'll be watching. Nobody will be playing with strikers. You're like, come on now.
No.
That's just like, there's a lot of nonsense. You know, but it was, we were so close to getting the point. You know, that's what I would say. A personal perspective, we're really disappointed. And I don't, by the way, personally, I would never do that. But as a manager, you say there's a lot of things go through your mind. You're trying to get results. You thought that was the way to get a result. And we're only far away from getting that result. Mm-hmm. You know, I still think we could have more against that team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the big thing is that there was nothing particularly to fear. Yeah. So there was an element of Craig hugely overthinking how we did things rather than just going out and playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always remember the ball going into the box of the free kick and thinking, oh my God, why have keeper was kind of halfway and the centre halfway is in there, and then the boy heads it in. You think that's what stopped us getting a result.
Right.
But Kenny's right. That I remember watching that game at home. It wasn't there. And that's the thing that was in my mind. It's the Czech Republic. We're playing for a draw against the Czech Republic, and we're better than the Czech Republic. I know we're going over old ground, but that was the thing that annoyed me about it. We should have been taking the game to them.
Yeah, but it wasn't the system that beat us that night.
Yeah,
it was pure defending.
Yeah, but we're talking about this game against the Greeks on Saturday night, how you can't play for a point. Craig Levine that night played for a point.
But I'm with.
We're all agreement you can't do that.
I don't think playing for a point works for anybody.
No, you tried it that night.
Because I know, but that's a million years ago under a different manager and a different time. You know, it's just.
I don't think there's no way with this group of players.
No.
With Steve in charge, is he a pragmatic coach? Absolutely. Could we at some point maybe take a defensive view on the game to try and protect? Absolutely, we could. But that's natural. Yeah. That would be any team in that situation.
And that happens during the game. 100%. But the other thing 100%. Is, Robert, we've lost in the last couple of years far too many silly goals to even think about being some kind of catenaccio Italian style team. We even against Belarus, you know, they could have been ahead of us at one point because, you know, they got a goal disallowed. We had a shocking 15-20 minutes against Greece. Greece could have been 4-0 up against us. Yeah. You know, so we're not set.
No, listen, I've just got this almost an old-fashioned way about it. Probably as a fan, if you're going to lose, can I dive your boots on? You know, can I have a go? And if it doesn't work out and you lose, you don't get the results you need, then fine. Playing that kind of way, I just
but we'll not play that way. So we don't need to. And you know, there's also there's a lot to play for here. You know, this is the first time in 27 years and it's probably the closest we've been for a long time. With a home game and an away game against two teams that are decent. But it's not like all the years ago when we were playing Italy and Germany 100%. And we had to go beat Italy in the last game of the season. And you're playing against a superpower at this point. These teams are really good and they're efficient teams, but
100%.
You're right. By the way, we played against these super teams and I scored against them all.
No, them all. I've not scored against Greece, so.
No, but
I've never played against them.
That's what I said to him before we went. I said, "Do you ever score against Greece?" He says, "No, but I never played against them." I would have done.
Yeah.
What's your favourite one of the goals, especially in the big games?
Yeah, the big games would have been Italy because it was genuinely listen, Germany was a good day as well. To be fair. But one of my was the England game.
Yeah.
Because it was. It was only a friendly, but it was the first time we've played for a long time. It was at the new Wembley. It was a goal where I felt I was in complete control.
That was you.
I knew what I was doing, and fortunately, it all kind of panned out. But Italy was a great day. Germany was a great day. Ukraine, and that was that campaign. That was a top campaign.
That was that's one of my favourite.
Yeah.
Campaign, although it ends badly.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ukraine game at Hamilton. There was an atmosphere that day that you get very often in your life. It was fantastic.
It's because it was a Saturday afternoon game at 3 o'clock with the sun shining, and
we get the early goal.
And everybody's been out beforehand enjoying themselves, and now they're turning up at Hampden ready to rock. I mean, I missed those games. I missed like the scheduling now of the games, and I mean that's why I think you probably see some teams. No, we'll stick with the Saturday afternoon or the Saturday at home at night, because we know what it's going to bring. Friday nights and I've been in the what game was it with the rain? Oh my goodness, I was at that game.
Tuesday
night. You're there on 11 o'clock, and my boy was there with his wee team. I'm like, he needs to get him to go to his bed for school.
I know.
You know, we're there at midnight to watch a game of foot. It was crazy.
We had 5 o'clock on a Sunday.
It's rubbish.
But you're right, the Saturday
afternoon, sunshine in Hampden.
The 2-2 game in England was a Saturday afternoon.
Top, I was there. I was working at that game as well. Incredible atmosphere.
Just generally though, I mean, you mentioned the qualification campaigns that you guys had to deal with that time, and you think we had such a great group of players back when you played, but we didn't have the luck when it came to the campaigns, the teams we were up against. How do you reflect on your Scotland career and what, because you achieved so much, we're talking about the great goals you scored and the number of caps you got and Hall of Fame and everything. Is there a bit of regret there that it just didn't work out? That team, that group of boys, you guys just didn't get the wee bit of luck that you maybe needed?
Listen, you speak to anybody for that era. Like, look at the top players that have came through, and that, like these teams. For the last time we were at a major tournament before the Euros, a few years back now. Like, everybody's going to look back and think that's something that they've never done. You know, but guys in the teams that won leagues here, there, and everywhere, and always were successful players playing in top teams, but never got to a major finals and never experienced that tournament. With the national team. Again, this is what we were all striving towards when we first came in. After my debut 2001. 2001, it had only been kind of 3 years at that time, but when you get to 2011, you fast forward, it's been 13 years. That was always we need to get there. You know, we need to. Again, with what I would say is, it was tough to qualify. You know, you're finishing, but I mean, the time we finished behind Germany, you get Holland in the playoff. You then get the closest I came was that group. Italy and France were the World Cup finalists.
It's incredible.
Ukraine were the beaten quarter-finalists, by the way, that year. And we've got the 3 of them in our team.
We were outstanding in that.
We've got the 3 of them in our group. So, and there was always a Portugal, Holland, Germany, whoever it's going to be, Spain, in your group. And then you throw in the next wee kind of like Larry teams. Yeah,
but very Scotland, if you look at that, when you've got Ukraine, you've got Italy and France, it's always the daft game that does us, isn't it?
Aye, it was the Georgia game. Away, the Georgia game.
And that's where I think Scotland, we've got this weird mindset about
what I would say is we had it, maybe we had, but we've made it now, by the way,
That's true.
And this is where, like, I look at us and think there was a lot of things went in our favour at that point. By the way, we've got the Nations League. You've got the Nations League. See if you have a shocker and you end up in Pot D or C, what a chance you've got. That's where we got there from, by the way, from Pot C. You know, every one of my players in my area, I wish we had the Nations League. You've got a safety net.
Even now, we could have a horrible week, and you still know that's fine. We've still got a playoff in March. You know, so that's a good reason. What you're talking about, Robert, is not to be scared in Greece and not to be scared against Denmark, because whatever happens, we'll then go, okay, let's regroup, and okay, it's two huge games, whoever it's going to be against, but we've got it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know if it's just a kind of defeatist attitude. I do think if we go to the games in March, you need a bit of luck, and then who in terms of you get in those games. I think if we're going to qualify, it has to be this week. For me, this is a chance. You're never going to get a better opportunity.
I thought you had a more positive outlook on life than what Bill had.
No, I genuinely am.
We've still got a second chance in March.
I said it weeks ago. I said we're going to pump Denmark, right? But we just need to get to Denmark. I think, for me, if we get the result in Athens, and I think we're going to do it. I genuinely said weeks ago that, and I looked at that camera, I said we're going to do it. If we get to the last game next Tuesday night, I think
we've always said we'll beat them.
I think we beat Denmark. I think arguably there's not much between the teams, but I think the boys do it. I think a huge part of this, Kenny, and I said this weeks ago as well, I think there's so many players in the squad right now who know this is their last chance. You know, they look at it, Andy Robertson, maybe Craig Gordon, the goalkeeper, John McGinn even, you know, he could probably Lyndon Dykes, Sheard. This is their opportunity to get a World Cup. If they don't get to this World Cup, they're not playing in a World Cup. No. And I think they have to look at these 2 games and think, this is it. And I'm sure every other player, when they sit in the Scotland dressing room before a game, they've got that kind of let's do it. But this is their chance. It's
Craig Gordon could be in the next World Cup at 47.
It's Greece and Denmark. As Kenny says, it's not Spain, Italy or France.
You're right. See,
what's it going to do? I'm convinced they're going to do it.
I'm just the opposite for you. I'm a bit more sceptical at this week because of where we are. I'm hoping that if we don't do it this week, that we get to March and some players have had a wee. Scott McTominay's going through a wee lull at the moment. Wee Billy's struggling with his injury. But we need to talk about this. The biggest thing for me is how did we get to a situation that we're in a nation with ambitions of reaching a World Cup? How did we get to the situation where we need to play a back-end goalkeeper? We'll need to say, John Suter, you're back in tonight because we've not got. How did we get to the stage where Scotland doesn't have a goalkeeper under the age of 43 that we can trust?
But it's really strange because there's cycles, isn't there? There's cycles in football that we went through having Gordy, Griggsy, Davy Marshall, 3 unbelievable goalkeepers all fighting for each other
at the same time.
Yeah, you go back even further. Like in my era, you've got these 3 guys there that were. By the way, 2 could be injured, no bother. And by the way, how often are 2 goalkeepers injured? How often is 1 goalkeeper injured? Very rarely. We could have had 2 injured. We've still got a top-class goalkeeper coming in.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've got guys that were just fighting. I mean, again, it was Gordy for years, and then Griggsy came in, and then Gordy eventually takes it back. Then Marshy's the one, then Gordy comes back in and takes the jersey back again. Like, we've just been so lucky for, what has that been? Probably 15 years minimum.
Well,
20
even
years.
The first Euros we came back, it's a choice between
Marshy.
Craig and Marsh, and Marsh gets the nod over Craig. You could have done it the other way around quite easily.
But it's incredible to think, though, that when we get to the Euros, that Craig Gordon doesn't even go.
No.
And Steve Clarke is now having to go back to him. And fair play to Craig Gordon, that I think a lot of players,
would have chucked it.
Rightly or wrongly, after getting bombed for the Euros, would have went, right, that's me. He's not done that. And it could be, you tell me what you think. It's either going to be Craig Gordon, Liam Kelly,
or
Scott Bain. That's a huge decision to make. Craig Gordon's not playing for Hearts. Liam Kelly's not playing for Rangers. Scott Bain's playing every week for Falkirk now, having had years at Celtic not playing. What do you do? What's your opinion on this?
I think the safe ones, Gordy plays. If he's fit enough to play, and he's...
If he's not fit enough to play, why is he there?
And he's training enough. I think the thing with the Euros, again, bombed and is a strong word. I'll say leading into that Euros, I don't think Craig Gordon would go. And I think it was the right call. I think it was the right call, I think these players had been there. They had been through the kit. Listen, he wouldn't have played. He wouldn't have played.
Oh, I'd have played him.
You might have, but he wouldn't have played. Again, and this is in terms of a bit of loyalty. Who's been in there? Who's got you there? I think Steve's.
He's very loyal.
He's pretty good with that. And Craig hadn't played. Because the Hearts manager threw him in for 2-3 games at the end of the season just to give him I don't think by the way, these guys have been through the campaign, and it's not just about playing, by the way, it's about being part of a group. Craig could have been part of the group.
No.
But here's the thing, Kenny. He took Xander Clark, right? Xander Clark's not playing right now. Craig Gordon's not playing right now. But who's he picking for the squad now? He's picking Craig Gordon.
Because he's not got any other options.
He's not picking Xander Clark.
He's not got any other options.
So for the Euros, that Euros, he thought Xander Clark was ahead of Craig Gordon, and he thinks he's going to show him.
He's not the only one, by it, because the Hearts manager had thought he was the number one for the whole season, pretty much.
I think, I wrote this in my column on Monday, Craig Gordon, if he's fit, plays. If he's not fit, he shouldn't be in the squad. And the main reason is, he's not played since May because he's hurt his shoulder, right? So he's back training. Derek McKinnon says, look, I would trust him to go and do it with Scotland. I don't think Derek would put himself in the line with that. For me, of the 3 goalkeepers, and they're all good goalkeepers, when it comes right down to it in that last 20 minutes in Greece, and we're hanging on for a point, Craig Gordon's the one that's going to make the save that makes you go, how did he get to that? He's one of the best stoppers of a point blank effort I've ever seen.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but you're thinking about Craig Gordon from...
He still does it now.
He's not played for...
No, but when Craig Gordon plays, he still makes incredible saves.
But we've not seen him do that for a year.
Well, we have. He was great last season, and then he got injured at the end of the season.
I think I agree with you, but I also think there's a question mark over it that he's had come through a hellish injury.
Absolutely.
He's not playing football.
But that's the bit we don't know.
I think he plays. Listen,
I think he plays.
I think if he's in the squad,
if Craig Gordon doesn't play, Liam Kelly plays.
That's interesting.
And
if Scott Bain's the one that's playing.
That would be my order. It'd be Gordy if he's fit to play, and for a number of things. He's been there, he's done it, he's made the saves, he's put the points on the board.
Unbelievably confident.
And he's a top goalkeeper. Listen, he's 40, what is he now, 43?
He'll be 43 in Hogmanay.
Unbelievable. And You know what? That's even a testament to his professionalism and his mentality, right? So if Gordy's fit and able, and Steve, we've seen this in training this week, all these things that you're talking about, because he'll do that in training. If he's done that in training, he plays.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If he doesn't play, Liam Kelly.
So why Liam Kelly over Scott Bain, who's playing?
Liam Kelly's been in about the squad. Liam Kelly, he's a number 2 at Rangers now. Well, Scott Bain was a number 2 for 4 years at Celtic. So because he's played a few games at the start of a season for Falkirk, does that propel you ahead? For me, no. Liam Kelly's been about the squad. He's played. He's played games. He's no played any games.
No.
And I know he's a good goalie.
He's had one game for Rangers.
I know he's a good goalie. So that would be the order for me.
Okay.
And it's based on a number of factors with Gordy. And I just think Liam for me, Liam's the next
I remember you actually, when you were at Rangers and Liam Kelly was at Rangers and he was kind of coming through at that time, that'd be right? Liam Kelly. I remember you actually saying to me that he was so similar to Alan McGregor, just in terms of his mentality and the way he kind of handled himself.
Same size, same type of build.
He's
unbelievable.
When he had to come in last season for Rangers, European ties, etc., he handled himself exceptionally well.
I agree with Kenny.
He does have a good mentality.
Really good goalkeeper.
Do you know, I think I would probably have said before this that Scott Bain, because he's playing.
Because
you changed your mind.
Yeah.
Well, Kenny's changed
We've got a first after how many podcasts have we done? You're hearing it here, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Leckie has had his mind changed.
But that's the first
this man.
We've had somebody on who's actually made a point, and I thought, that's a great point, well done.
No, we need to note this, we need to write this down.
I know he's a very good goalie. I know he's a very good goalie. I know he's a very good goalie, and it would be just because Scott Bain's came in and played. By the way, it's not against Scott Bain.
No.
It's not. I just know Liam's
a great
really,
season
really good goalie.
for Falkirk so far.
But it's so Falkirk had a wonderful season. But Liam's a top goalie. He's a really, really good goalie. Again, for a backup at Rangers, way more than capable. Like you say, when he came in, was it the penalty? He saved the penalty in a game. If that never reminded you, Grieves, I don't know what did. Because that's what he done. He makes big saves at big moments.
And that's my thing with Craig Gordon. Craig Gordon, I mean, you can talk about his age all you like. I remember when you were saying they threw him back in before the Euros.
Yeah.
He came back from his wrong leg.
Yeah.
And they played his first game back. I went down there. It was a Scottish Cup tie at Capello. One of these horrible freezing cold Greenwich nights. Blah blah blah.
Always is at Capello.
Absolutely. It was the middle of July. And Morton were just having a spell where they were right on them, and it was live in the telly, and it was a ball down to his right, and he's got no right. And he goes down, he puts it around the post, you go, Craig Gordon's back. He did the same in the Scottish Cup tie then at Paisley.
Yeah, he did.
When we were 1-0 up, shot for the edge of the box, he goes down, he's got no right to save it, he saves it, they got the part and equalise. That's what Craig Gordon has done his whole career. He's pulled off ridiculous saves at times.
I agree with you now.
And by the way, I don't think he's perfect. I think there's things with Craig's game that...
Because by the way, he made a lot of errors when he first came back in the Hearts team as well.
Sometimes he's confident in the way... Although, I think we've all spoke to Craig often enough to know that he doesn't make mistakes. He's superbly confident
I think that's
in his own ability.
I think that's his biggest strength.
That's a great thing.
I think it's his mentality to think that, he shrugs off mistakes that we all look at it maybe as non-goalkeepers and think, because you've done better there, he just goes, nah.
And that's why he'll play.
Aye.
That's the reality.
Because he has the confidence.
That's why he'll play.
But that's why I was amazed he didn't go last year.
And because he's a good goalkeeper.
Aye.
Like a really, really good goalkeeper. And as long as he's still showing all these things that we remember, and I remember the France game at home when Big Gary scored the winner. Gordy was incredible that day. Absolutely incredible.
And that's what gives you the foundation to go and get the win.
No.
As long as he's still able to do the things that we all remember him doing, and all these big saves that he was making and he made throughout his career, as long as he's training this way and he's showing that he's still capable, then he plays. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
I think it's just a brilliant story as well, given everything that happened at the Euros and stuff. If he comes in, I said it last week when we spoke about this, we touched on it. I think it's almost written. He makes the save. Honestly, we're doing it. We're qualifying.
Does he go to America?
Mark on me.
If we get America, does he go as your number one? Or is Angus Gunn back as number one?
No,
because I think it's a better goalkeeper than Angus Gunn. I think he makes more saves than Angus Gunn.
I think if you're at 43 years of age, next summer is a million miles away. I don't think you can say right now how Craig Gordon is going to be.
What you can say is
if he's
fit, he goes.
What a story it would be.
When they're all fit, Angus Gunn, Craig Gordon, Liam Kelly, Scott Bain, John McCracken, whoever else. Who's our best goalkeeper?
But you're talking again. This is all of us are going to say the same thing. It's going to be Gordy based on what he's done and where he's been and the saves he's made and the games he's played in and all the experiences he's got. And he's 43 years.
Yeah.
You know, because he's been at the better level. He's been a more regular. He's been a number one for Scotland for years and years from a young age as well. By the way, from a really young age, he came in as a number one. So. He has just got way more experience in his age, but not just the games that he's been at, the levels he's been at. He's been at a better level. So he would be, again, as long as the Craig Gordon that we'll remember, he's your best goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I've no doubt. For me, the rest of them are. I know Angus Gunn's came in as a number one, but Angus, again, for me, that's because it was a level. He's playing for Norwich in the Championship. Again, Norwich were in the Premier League a few years ago as well.
He's in number 3 at Nottingham Forest and can't get a game.
And that's the thing. So how can he be our number one when we're having this discussion about who's going to play? We've got a guy who's not even on the bench.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what level is it, because by the way, you can be Premier League, Serie A, Bundesliga, whatever you want.
If you're not playing,
if you're not even sitting on a bench, are you really at the level?
Yeah.
You're a training goalkeeper.
Aye.
Yeah.
That's what it is. If you're number 3, number 4. Yeah. So it's a hard one. So again, between Liam, between Angus, between Scott Bain, whoever else comes into the squad. I don't think they're. Again, I favour Liam. You know this because I've seen him.
Yeah.
I've seen him because by the way, see Liam will make big saves.
Aye.
That's a fact. Liam will make big saves.
He's also a big mentality as well.
And he's a big game player.
Yeah.
Again, he comes in Rangers at the Old Firm games, the European games. He's a big game player. And listen, he might go. In Grieve, he wasn't the biggest. Liam's not the biggest, but this is why they need to have something special.
There's size and then there's stature.
They need to make saves.
A big guy, but I don't think he's got the stature.
Yep. Liam makes big saves, and that's why I've always loved him as a goalkeeper. And he's really, really good with his feet. Now, modern day goalkeepers need to be. I always remember that time you were talking when he was coming through, the reserves came round to play us one time when I came back in 2014 to Rangers. And Liam was in that team. I think he was only 18 at the time. And he's spraying balls all over the place, dropping balls into number 10s, and it was killing us. I think we were preparing to play Raved or something. I'm going off my head because he's dropping balls into 10s and the centre backs are dropping up. I'm like, fuck, somebody's got to do it. He just kept doing it, just kept dropping balls in on a sixpence all over the place. So he's got an ability in that as well, but he also had these leadership tendencies as well when he was a young player. So he's got that. He'll still, but even if he's not playing, he knows he's got a role to play. Number 2s and goalkeepers are weird like that. They've still got a role to play. They need to support their mate, who's the number 1, but they also need to bring energy to the group. There's no many better than Liam at that.
No, I know we can't.
And that's why, that's why he's in the group.
Aye.
And that's not just because he's goalkeeper. And that's why maybe he went to Euros over Craig Gordon.
Yeah.
Because Steve would have appreciated the role that he's bringing to the team.
Yes.
You know, so.
We've spent far too long talking about goalkeepers. Talk to us about the centre forward position. You played that role so brilliantly for Scotland, Kenny. You joke about the kind of lone number 9, the kind of lone frontman role. You did that better than M did it. We can probably remember. Che Adams probably leads the line for us. How impressed were you with the job that he's done for Scotland? He's been a good Scotland player.
I think he has. It's been a position where there's been a lot of change in it, like whether it be Dykes, whether it be Adams. Again, 2 of them have played up front at some times. It's maybe
doesn't work as well, does it?
Quite no worked as well. And it might be just be as simple as they're actually better up there on their own. Playing with a little bit more support coming for deep. Your McGinns, your Christies, McTominay's arriving, your wing backs when we were really at it, when we were playing that 3, and Robertson would be on one side, it could have been O'Donnell, it could have been Hickey on the other side, or whoever was on the right side. We had the 2, but normally McGregor would always have been first name on the team sheet alongside a Gilmore. Like, we had a really, really good team. You know, the forward has got to do the job of working your socks off, buying your free kicks, getting us up the field, and they can do it in a different way. Obviously, London's a better target man, so the ball could go up to him and you could have McGinn running off him for a flick on or a knock off. Adams worked harder, he works the channels, you can get the ball in and around him because he's strong like a bull, so you can get the ball into him. I think all the forwards that I've played, again, particularly these 2 guys, because they've been the main 2 guys over the last kind of 8 years or so, they've done a decent job. You know,
I tend to think that especially when Adams plays in his own, Che Adams will look, he's not going to get a lot of chances for Scotland the way he plays, but he's going to look a lot better if McGinn and McTominay and Christie, or whoever the 3 are getting in there. But John and Scott have kind of stopped scoring as often. There was a point where they were scoring everything, and you think Che's doing a brilliant job bringing them into the game. But if they're not doing that, he can look very isolated sometimes, can't he? Which must be quite, you've been there. It must be quite soul destroying if you're not involved
against the top opposition. Obviously, you're going to be involved less. Yeah. That's just the net. But again, that's where it's more off the ball stuff now is your job. You know, can you get back in and help with that? I always remember Walter when he it was his first game in the San Siro.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be tracking Pirlo. I was like, Pirlo's a midfielder.
Good luck with that.
Why am I having to run about after a midfielder? Just run about after Pirlo. And by the way, you would see him, he'd be running about with his feet 10 to 2. By the way, he just looked like he's strolling about with the hair. By the way, I couldn't get close to him. You couldn't get close to him because you'd be able to watch the ball. He's already moved 10 yards off your shoulder to go in and get the ball in a different area. So that's a Scotland striker's job as well. You've got to be back and defending with your team. And against the better nations when you've not got the ball, that's what it is. You know, and you have to be working. That's where these two guys in particular, I mean, they give everything they've got to the team. You've got to say that. And they have chipped in with really, really important goals. Because you're right, they don't get a lot of chances. So it's important when you do get the chances that you're actually really, really efficient with them. And I think these guys have come up with big goals over the years as well.
Lord Shankland's back in.
Yeah.
He's looking much better this season. He's lost weight. He's running hard. He's Danny McInnes says he actually puts in more running than anybody else in the Hearts team. Not at pace, but the actual kilometres he's covering is more than anybody else in the team. Would you think about him, or is he behind the other two in the ranks?
To start?
Aye.
No.
She
Adam starts.
Yeah, Adam starts.
I really like Lawrence.
So that's not against Bonnie Shankland, by the way, but I don't
think he had the season last year.
No.
Than what he's
having it this season.
The previous two. He started really, really well this year. I would actually question Dell. I would love to see these numbers because there's no way the striker runs more than any midfielder. There's no chance. That'll be a lot of nonsense. He'll be talking his striker up. So I would love to see these numbers. So anyway, there's no chance, by the way. No chance.
Dell, over you.
Give me a shout.
Dell's telling a few porkies, all right? He's not doing more in their full backs.
No?
It's impossible. Striker will not do more running in a full back or a midfielder. Unless Dell might produce some numbers in there where Shankland's doing 12k a game. I don't think there's any strikers that will be doing 12k a game. But anyway.
Interesting.
What was your average?
You're probably a striker's average will be around about a lot around about 10 and a half most. Probably between 9 and 10 is where a striker.
Is that what you were at?
I don't know. Me never had the things when I played as much. Not in the games, if it wasn't as important in the games that you would get that kind of, but normally between 9 and 10, maybe 10 and a half.
Boydie did about 2.
Yeah. Boydie was 8 with 3 goals. But no, I really like Lawrence. I don't think he's the season he had, for whatever reason, contracts, maybe disappointed, never got the moves, whatever
and the
it is.
position he played him in as well.
Yeah, he was off.
But I also think he takes that on himself a little bit, Lawrence, because he's a really good, for me, his improvement, I've said many a time, his improvement in the last 5 years as an all-round player is incredible. He's he's the best, one of the best I've seen, that fighting with the centre-back, because he's a strong boy, fighting and able to take that contact but still have the calm mind to bring the ball down or assess what's about you, where your support is. And it's a one-touch layoff where he'll get it on his chest, dead, lay it off, and then he goes. He's so good at it. When he was at Dundee United, when I remember watching Dundee United when they won the Championship, he wasn't doing that.
No.
He's doing that. That was only 5 years ago. Yeah. He's doing that way, for the last 2-3 seasons now, he's been excellent. So I think when you've got a goal scorer like him, we don't have too many of these guys. I mean, Boydie was that guy. You've got Lawrence Shankland. You've got goal scorers, natural goal scorers. We can't afford not to have these guys in the team. But you're right, he won't start. But just if you need a goal, like we did, what games when he came and scored in the 92nd minute or the late on with the header. Yeah. Again, body contact, nudge the thing, heads it in, boom, we get the result. So he's a good guy to have coming on. So, but he won't start. But he's a really good player. You talk about guys that are known for him. Well, you've got someone who is coming into these games in really good form.
He's one of the guys who's actually playing at his proper level just now, which we don't have that many of.
He's back to it as well, because he's been someone who was in the team, he's out the team. A lot of clamour for him to start. By the way, I was one of these guys thought, no, he should start. Yeah. Because he was playing the way he's playing now and scoring goals. Yeah. And he will score more goals than any of the rest of them. Probably put together, actually. Yeah. So he's coming in really good form. That's always a good thing. So whether he starts, he probably knows he's not going to start.
No.
But he'll be ready, by the way, I'm going to come on and make an impact. I could be the guy that sends us to the World Cup in these next 2 games. Yeah. Imagine being that guy.
No, absolutely. Be interesting, fascinating couple of days ahead. Next few days, I say I'm flying off to Athens tomorrow. A lot going on, Bill, in Scottish football, other than the Scotland game. We'll just touch on it briefly. Celtic looking for a new manager. We spoke about Martin O'Neill last week. It looks as though Wilfried Nancy is FAV. I think they're closing in on a deal for him. Kenny will come to him. Kenny's just back from MLS, where Nancy's been working. What would you make of it? You think it's a wee bit of left field one?
It is, and you know, everything. Football clubs seem to think more left field all the time just now. And you know, we started out thinking, well, Kieran McKenna, and Kieran McKenna fit. That was a good fit. But then they think, well, there's contractual stuff, golden handcuffs at Ipswich Town, that goes aside. And then we start looking at guys that you would just never have, if you'd said right at the start, do you fancy this guy Wilfried Nancy? You wouldn't have. You'd have said, well, I'm not even sure who he is, you know, what he's done, who he is. But if that's who they're looking at, then that's the gamble. They took a gamble on Ange and it was fantastic. They took a gamble on Wim Jansen back in the day and it was fantastic, you know. So that's a massive shout for them because they can't afford to get it wrong.
Yeah,
they absolutely can't afford to get it wrong.
Kenny, you're just back for MLS. You were at Atlanta United there. United,
yeah.
Sorry.
Done your homework, mate.
Sorry, just thought of brain fog there. Is this an environment he's coming from? Is that prepare you from life potentially at Celtic? You come up against him a couple of times. No,
it's a massive step, huge. I mean, has there ever been a Rangers or Celtic manager been appointed for the MLS?
No.
Different game.
You know, Ange from the
Different
Japanese
game.
league.
Yeah, different game. You know what? Again, you're right. Well, it was a gamble. It's a gamble that paid off.
Absolutely.
All appointments are gambles. You never know. Because you never know what's going to work, is what we'll say. Whether they're coming with the best CV or the worst CV, it doesn't really matter. There's an element of a gamble in it. You can narrow that gap a wee bit by being at certain levels, but clubs that have maybe replicated what you're going to be facing, and there's no many of them that replicate our two Glasgow clubs. So it's going to be a completely different environment for them. I'm interested to see how it will go because, again, it looks like it will move forward. His team play really good football. It was tough to play as we were 5-0 down against them.
Wow. At
home. Finished 5-4. Should have got some for the game, actually. But it was, they play good stuff. They play really good stuff. Will the Celtic players take to it? Have they got the players to actually play the way that he wants to play?
What is he?
Again,
in what way is he? Is it in terms of pressing or effort, or what is it?
It's really, really possession based. Focuses on. So again, they effectively play a back four, but they build in a three, or Columbus built in a three. They would have two kind of sixes that played. One of them was a guy that was linked with Celtic years ago. I played against him when I was in MLS, Darlington Nagby. Remember, he was linked with Celtic years ago, but he's happy, he's settled where he is, and things. Really good player. I think he's 36 now. He's a top player. He plays as one of the sixes, but he's all action still, as much as a 36-year-old can be. But that's the 3-2, and then they've got a lot of players in the last line. It's good. It's exciting to watch. Will it be able to kind of work at Celtic again? Who knows? It's about how he does. It's like Ange. Ange came in with the Ange ball, and again, for me, it was never that dissimilar to Brendan in the first time. You know, there was a lot of similarities, and had really good players, by the way. Really good players. These players are now moved on a little bit. The Celtic squad's not the Celtic squad that Brendan first had, or even the squad that Ange had, or even what Brendan had 2.5 years ago. It's a different team altogether now. So there's a lot of work probably done on the squad. With a new manager coming in with this kind of way, listen, it's an interesting appointment.
If you then end up with two youngish sort of left field guys running Rangers and Celtic, from our point of view, it makes it very, very interesting.
Yeah.
What it does is, you're right, it's like football clubs these days. I mean, I'm maybe a wee bit old school. I always felt that the Rangers job or the Celtic job, it has to be earned. You know, like you need to have. There has to be something there in the background that suggests, well, this game maybe limits that gamble, you know. But football clubs all over now, it's like, it's all, who can appoint the youngest, least experienced manager, you know, and it looks like there's a lot of that happening, even this to England, and when maybe it doesn't work, they move into the next role anyway, you know, because they've still got that kind of, it's fashionable, you know. It's a fashionable appointment.
We still think at Southampton and Russell Martin before that, and they get 5 months or they get 6 months, and then that experiment didn't work. Punt them out. Next one comes in, and I don't think Rangers and Celtic should be going down that road.
I know you're watching Rangers from afar. What did you make, or what have you made of what's happened there in the last few months? Of obviously the Russell Martin thing didn't work. They spent so long. Various managers, Kevin Muscat, others looking at. Steven Gerrard, and then he ended up with Danny Rohl, who I think, I've gone on record, I think he's going to be a good manager for Rangers.
I agree,
You think that's so as well?
No, I definitely agree. Obviously, my good friend Josh Windass worked with him, Barry Bannon worked with him at Sheffield Wednesday. I know they raved about him.
Yeah.
Like they really, really loved working under him, thought he was top. And I think the first thing I thought that he would sort would have been, Rangers are not going to concede as many goals. They're going to be better off the ball. And I think in the second half, with 10 men against Celtic, you've seen the aggression still. He was still committing men forward to press. He wanted to still try and win the ball high. There seemed to be, again, Celtic are still a good team. They can still get out, particularly when they've got a man extra. But there was a real energy about the team to get back and work, a work ethic that was in the team that maybe wasn't there before, an energy about them, a hunger about them. The one thing I would say about Rangers is there's been a pattern over the last kind of 3 or 4 seasons. Giovanni comes in, does well, flat next season. Clement comes in, Michael Beale comes in.
Gets a good start. Yeah.
One of the best records any Rangers manager ever got in terms of win percentages.
Until
next season, flat. With Clement, I actually went flat at the end of the season.
Yeah.
With 10 games to go, Rangers got 15 points out of 30 and lost the league in those 10 games. Next season, flat, done. Everybody at the same time of year. You know, this group, I know it's a different group as it's moved forward, but there seems to be something missing within these groups that you go, we're revamping it, it's going to be, we're signing 11 players, 12, but same again, flat.
It's as if they get the
flat. Manager loses his job.
Right.
Russell this year.
It's as if they get a boost and they get energy. I mean, you take Russell Martin out of it, who just didn't work for the start, but the rest of them, they've all had a burst of energy. They all go, training's fantastic and it's great, and and then the energy,
all of a sudden it's rubbish.
The energy just runs away.
Yep.
It's like the batteries run out.
But what I would say, Will, about this, again, my experience of going back and playing for the Old Firm team is when any player, particularly foreign players, and I always remember going back to our team under 2008, 2011. We were pretty much British-based team, and always looked across at Celtic and they'd signed these Aguirre for Honduras. And again, top player, got the player of the year in that first year. They signed more kind of flamboyant signings, maybe more glamorous signings than maybe what we did. You know, but again, it's the old cliche. How are they going up to Inverness on a Tuesday night when they need to go and win? You know, and I always feel that now the groups of players, again, taking your McGregors and your Tierneys and your Ralstons and your Liam Scaleses and even Tav and Liam Kelly on the other side a wee bit, sometimes the novelty wears off. I'm playing in front of 50,000, 60,000 at Celtic Park. This is incredible. 4 months in and you're no really in tune with the clubs, and it doesn't really mean as much to you as what it does to these guys that I just mentioned. And then sometimes the novelty wears off and they can go through the floor. Well, and I've seen it a million times.
You've seen that with Rangers the last few years, that European nights.
Exactly.
They come right out in the Leipzig games.
But see, for me, this is a problem.
Yeah.
At Rangers, this is a problem. Because Rangers raised their game now. Same last year for Fergie. They raised their game for Celtic and they raised their game in European nights. Not so much this year, but in previous years.
But then they play Motherwell and
That can't be. That's not what Rangers is. Rangers, you turn up every single day, not every game, every single day, and you go to win your training match, and then you take it in. And training should be harder. I know it's again cliche. Rangers training should be harder than going to play against, with the greatest of respect, St Mirren's, Dundee's and Livingstone's. And it should be turned up there with the same hunger as if you're playing Celtic in an Old Firm semi-final, or if you're playing Leipzig in a European semi-final. That's what Rangers and Celtic are about. And Rangers, you're right, have been the team now that raised their game. No, the teams... Other teams raise their game to come play Rangers and Celtic, but Rangers drop when they play against the lesser oppositions. And you know what? That's 95% of your games. That's what wins your leagues. That's what wins your leagues. No beating Celtic, by the way. Beating the rest wins your leagues. And unfortunately, Rangers at the moment have not had that consistency in the results or the performances, for that matter, to actually be in a position to go challenge and win the league.
Did he just have a what's it, man?
No, I don't think he did.
I think he did mention something.
I think he comes a lesser team.
No, I didn't.
It was there. It was in the lesser teams, the lesser opposition was in the look at.
He was a bunny years,
he was doing so well until the 40th minute. Brilliant chat, Kenny. We've really enjoyed you coming in. Thanks very much. Finally, just go back to Scotland, Bill. You're not sitting here saying we're not going to do it, are you?
No, I'm saying it might take us to the playoffs.
So he's saying that. That's exactly what he's saying.
By the way, I hope that we sit here next week and you put a big flan right in my cup, because we've beaten Greece over there and we've beaten Denmark here, and we're in the finals, and it was a piece of cheese. You've got a big cigar and I've got custard here.
In your mind, are we going to take it to the last game? Are we going to get the result in Greece, or is it going to...
That's the one that bothers me. I'm with you. I think if we come down having...
You're not with me at all.
No,
you're absolutely not with me.
I've always said the same. We've said the same thing about the Denmark game. If we get to the Denmark game, we need to beat them. I think we'll beat them. Greece is the one that
Right,
bothers
so you don't think we're going to beat Greece or get the result in Greece, Kenny? We're going to do it?
You know what, see, since Steve Clarke's been in, and we've been up and down, there's been a roller coaster, there's been 2 major finals qualified for. You touched on wee bits of luck and things that my team's never had in the generations. I think we have had these breaks. And I think we will get the result, whether that's a draw or a win.
Brilliant.
And I think we'll take it to that on Hampden, and we'll somehow find a way to get the result and get there. Because I think this group have done it, Steve's done it, and there has been that kind of real feel-good thing. And you can feel it kind of, feel it kind of building towards Tuesday now, thinking, right, if we get the result, this is going to be the time, first time.
Well, I hope you're both right. I hope I'm
that we get there.
I'm telling you, the set piece is going to Miami next summer. I'm telling you, we'll be there. Miami Beach, South Beach, we'll be there next summer.
Scotland playing in Toronto.
Kerry, thanks for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure having you. For all the best news and views, stick with Sunsport. Let us know in the comment section below what you think of today's chat. Whatever you've agree or disagree with, let us know. Like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.